The man and woman wake up confused by the situation. A tall figure looms over them in the bedroom. The dark-haired coworker demands an explanation for this scene. Man nervously claims she came to care for him. The coworker sarcastically asks if nursing means being naked. Man stammers, caught completely off guard by the accusation. The coworker angrily says he always mocks her. Woman defends herself, saying she just came to help. The coworker sternly tells them to get dressed first. She reveals she pays all the rent and bills here. The coworker coldly asks when their relationship even started. Man insists there's no physical relationship, but she scoffs. The woman admits she came to warm his lonely heart. Coworker points out he should be working, not her. The man argues Hess sick, but she calls him a liar. She reveals she works overtime and does all the chore. The man complains her cooking has become bland and tessel. Coworker asks if that's all he wanted to say. She tells him to get out of her apartment immediately. The man lists all the expenses he supposedly cover. Woman looks on, worried by the escalating argument. The coworker states she covers all their living expense. Man reacts with shocked disbelief to her revelation. She tells him to get a real diagnosis from a hospital. The man is absent from work, leaving only a note. A smiling girl from a memory looking so happy. His apartment is a complete mess, trash everywhere. He sighs, feeling utterly exhausted from everything. A simple, desperate thought, he just wants to go home. Suddenly, a magical circle and a giant sword appear. His now in a fancy room with a surprised girl. He stands confused in a grand courtyard, guards watching. A crowd of nobles and the girl stare at him. A different dark-haired person looks on, utterly bewildered. The girl suddenly clings to him, calling him darling. An old man with a cane approaches them menacingly. The protagonist shouts in shock as the old man attack. Old man lands a powerful magical blow. A screen flashes the word hero in giant letter. The crowd erupts, realizing he speaks an otherworldly language. Old man orders a scribe to translate immediately. The scribe reads the screen, his voice trembling. He announces the protagonist is the prophesied hero. The crowd cheers, but the screen glitches, showing something else. Scribe nervously reads the new text on screen. He stammers, announcing the girl is the saint. The crowd goes wild for the saintess, ignoring the hero. Old man questions the protagonist's strange clothes and origin. The protagonist notices the air here feels fundamentally different. Officials stare in absolute horrified shock at him. A woman stands alone, labeled a housewife, by the court. The grand hall fills with nobles watching this strange summoning. Old mage demands clarification, shocked by what he heard. Officials confirm the identification magic, read her as housewife. The mage grabs the official, furious about this absurd result. Magic insists those characters appeared. No mistake was made. A mustached noble explains they summoned hero and saintess together. He suggests the woman was just excess magical energy, nothing more. She recalls floating above her bed during the summoning ritual. The old mage reluctantly accepts this explanation with a sigh. He formally welcomes the hero and saintess from another world. The young man stammers, confused about being called the hero. Mage explains his bloodline magic sees through to true nature. The young man's shock transforms into wild excitement instantly. He declares his glorious new life begins right here, finally. The hero turns to the woman, calling her housewife dismissively. He demands she bow and swear absolute loyalty to him. Then he suggests heroes need servants while she stays cautiously silent. Her eyes narrow, dangerously reassessing this entire bizarre situation. The hero impatiently demands she bow right now, pointing aggressively. She wonders if this situation might actually be an opportunity. With a calm smile, she politely refuses his demands outright. The hero grins, accepting her refusal with unsettling composure. He explodes in outrage. How dare she refuse the hero? She calmly explains she was just swept into this me. The lead insists they're just a housewife wanting a commoner's life. Older officials look uneasy, asking if that's really okay. The bearded man questions if they even know the hero. Lead flatly replies they're a complete stranger. A shot of feet walking away, showing a tense exit. The old man stops them, calling a precious otherworlder a waste. Walking away, the lead wonders if others like them were summoned. The officials insist they were summoned to be useful, not to slack off. Lead sits alone, looking overwhelmed and deep in thought. Suddenly, they call out, "Wait!" stopping someone in their track. A knight offers to guide them, saying the way out is confusing. The lead imagines a robot, feeling totally out of their depth here. Knight introduces himself as Alexis, captain of this country's knight. When asked for a name, the lead hesitates, unsure if they should share. Alexis advises keeping their distance since the lead is just a commoner. The lead points to a glowing lamp, asking, "What it I?" Alexis explains it's a magic stone lamp powered by reactive ore. The lead questions magic in other worlds, clearly from a place without it. Alexis notes how calm they are considering the shocking new knowledge. The knight smiles, deciding this is a good place to start explaining. He reveals there in the small kingdom beginning a grand explanation. A diagram shows magic essence permeating the world and creating monster. It explains how humans and some monsters manipulate magic into spell. Alexis adds magic stones are rare valuable drops from those monster. The lead wonders aloud if that means they're worth a fortune. Alexis announces they've arrived, pointing toward the exit. A heavy wooden door with iron studs blocks their path forward. The lead hesitates, hand covering their mouth nervously. Alexis stands confidently while the lead trails behind anxiously. The lead's eyes widen, taking in the unfamiliar world outside. A sprawling medieval city stretches before them beyond the wall. Alexis points out the main road and a large inn ahead. The lead worries no inn will accept a stranger without reference. Alexis smiles calmly as the lead panics beside him. The knight presses a small pouch into the lead's hand. Coins gleam inside. Alexis explains the local currency and rate. The lead protests, but Alexis insists they accept the help. Alexis feels guilty leaving a minor unprotected on these streets. The lead reveals they're actually 27, not a teenager. Citizens fill the bustling streets of this unfamiliar medieval town. The lead collapses onto a bed satisfied after warm rice porridge. A hat covers their face as they rest in the quiet room. Reality hits. They truly arrived in another world. Worry creeps in about unfinished work and missing from home. Silence fills the room as they stare at the wooden ceiling. Despite everything, a strange calm settles over them. Exhaustion pulls them toward deep, dreamless sleep. Bright lights suddenly flash, startling them awake. Light-haired figure appears in the blinding glow nearby. A mysterious voice echoes. Who stands at the cliff's edge? A dreamlike vision haunts the lead, someone pleading softly. Morning light breaks over the strange new world's rooftop. The lead walks barefoot, needing clothes and employment desperately. They pull a blanket over their head, overwhelmed. Staring in shock, they notice their hair color changed completely. Dark blue hair and green eyes. This body isn't there. They wonder if local food caused these bizarre transformations somehow. The medieval town bustles with unsuspecting citizens going about daily life. Lead sighs, dreading the thought of job hunting here. A passing woman mistakes them for a tired local man. Someone recognizes them as yesterday's castle summoning candidate immediately. Children suddenly grab the lead, pulling them somewhere urgently. The lead looks up confused about where they're being led. Their eyes widen in shock at something unexpected above. A talking black cat introduces itself as Rune from Ketchi. Rune explains magic works here, but not for Ketchi people. The lead nervously asks if this cat has been stalking them. Rune casually asks for the lead's name while walking ahead. The lead introduces themselves as Nadagi Yu holding the cat. They suggest calling them just Yu since it's easier. Rune questions this, noting commoners rarely have family names here. The lead asks if everyone knows about other worlds existing. Rune reveals summoned people arrive often. It's an open secret. Rune warns against announcing their origin or face beast treatment. The lead agrees, spotting a clothing shop nearby for disguise. Someone asks why you left the castle, hinting at curiosity. They spot an item shop exploring the town's offering. A cat questions the housewife label from the identification magic. The lead tries on clothes, embracing a positive new look. They celebrate escaping their old life, living for themselves now. Dreaming of a life without hard work, just enjoyment. Wishing Alexis had protected them, a moment of regret. Deciding castle work isn't for them, seeking other option. Handling coins, realizing the hero path isn't their calling. The cat praises their cleverness when cornered. Cat suggests a perfect job for their lazy desire. Arriving at a building, possibly the Adventurers Guild, the cat hurries them inside, eager to start. A voice announces a new registrant, causing a stir. Papers scatter, showing the chaotic registration process. The lead feels overwhelmed by the bureaucracy. A cheerful guild receptionist welcomes them warmly. The lead marvels at the fantasy world's animal ear. Receptionist asks their name while the cat dismisses detail. They fill out the adventurer registration form carefully. The receptionist explains adventurer jobs and the lead listen. A pile of paperwork awaits, daunting but necessary. The receptionist apologizes for the messy desk. Lead faces the paperwork, ready to begin. The process starts, marking their new adventure. A cat sleeps soundly atop scattered papers, oblivious to chow. The lead ponders adventurer registration fees, considering installment. They enter a filthy room shocked by the trash pile. The lead questions the mess, comparing it to a dump. They ask about a client told to meet outside. Close-up shows their confusion at the dirty environment. A small creature defends the place, claiming it's not that dirty. The creature points out functional space despite the clutter. A discarded bottle highlights the unsanitary conditions for customer. Peeking from cover, they note the guild's isolated location. The creature panics, realizing they must call outside for help. Resigned, the lead decides to step outside themselves. They return to the counter facing the creature directly. The lead requests cooperation for future endeavor. Their hands tremble, surprised by an unexpected development. A door slams shut with a deafening crash. They cover their face, overwhelmed by frustration. Wiping tears, they mutter that this might be impossible. A fanged mouth whispers, no hinting at hidden danger. A hooded figure enters, asking if there's a customer. Text flashes. Something is already terribly wrong. The creature calls for the guild master, announcing a return. Light beams erupt, accusing someone of being evil's root. The lead plugs their nose, unable to tolerate the stench. Kneeling figures lament lack of resources, time, and help. The guild master and companions sit amidst the overwhelming me. He looks offended, asking if they're calling him dirty too. Elena questions if all guild branches are really this filthy. She argues clients expect cleanliness when seeking adventurers for job. The lead shrugs, unsure how to respond to this logic. Elena presents a choice: clean plates or filthy leftover. She insists any decent shop should maintain basic cleanliness standard. The guild master awkwardly offers Elena a place to stay. Elena explodes, declaring she'll transform this dump into something respectable. The lead stares blankly at the impossible mess surrounding them. They turn to the guild members, asking about their responsibility. 3 bearded figures sit motionless, surrounded by garbage and debris. The lead mutters, this is way more trouble than expected. Someone suggests using Ketshi magic for washing and drying tasks. The lead suddenly gets called guild master and reflexively respond. A mysterious voice announces they came seeking employment here specifically. The guild master's eyes widen. An adventurer registration applicant appear. He warns there are conditions attached to joining the guild. The condition, mandatory full guild cleaning of this entire branch. Adventurers erupt in protest. They do real quests daily. The lead feels intense deja vu about doing menial labor again. Guildmaster grumbles he has his own complaints about everything. Elena snaps this isn't their personal residence to trash freely. She demands answers. If they need help, why reject outsider? Someone mutters trash stays trash, regardless of whether anyone notices. The lead jokes about giving Rune a proper bath. Cats scatter as cleaning magic erupts wildly. Hooded onlookers watch in utter confusion. Water blasts everywhere with purification magic. The cleaning spell spirals completely out of control. Drying magic finishes the chaotic bath. The cat-eared one wants to cast again. Building gets washed a second time. Adventurers notice the lead's strange hair color. Guildmaster Calvin arrives looking unexpectedly handsome. Someone desperately searches for hair dye. A character offers the lead a solution. The lead's hair is now perfectly styled. Calvin discusses registration requirements at the counter. Someone marvels at the registration document. The group finds the new registrant annoying. Another smart registrant joins the guild. The lead struggles with unfamiliar form field. Calvin tells them to cross out unknown section. The writing system isn't Japanese summoning magic. Receptionist finalizes the registration. Rune sits atop the paperwork being reviewed. The receptionist confirms the name and age. Everyone reacts with shock to the age. The group stares in stunned silence. Rune smirks, realizing Yu's Japanese origins explain everything. The ponytailed man admits they'll verify truth through magic. He grins confidently, proposing a foolproof confirmation method. Appraisal magic, he declares with absolute certainty. Yu questions whether such magic even exists here. An elder recalls royal bloodlines passed down through generation. The ponytailed man glares at Yu's suspicious expression. They discuss how appraisal was supposedly royalty-exclusive magic. Flashback reveals ancestors bred recklessly with countless lover. The man explains royal blood now flows through commoner. Statistics show 1 in 10 carries royal ancestry. Yu casually reveals their great-grandmother was a prince. Rune casually asks why they can't just use appraisal. Yu confirms their name and age. 27 years old, the receptionist demands they stop doubting and cooperate. Yu's eyes widen with sudden realization about something. Someone asks if Yu was actually summoned here. Everyone gasps in shock at the revelation. The receptionist questions if you appeared in an unknown place. They compare you to the legendary hero Ketesh. A blonde man screams angrily about the founding hero. Rune confirms Ketesh's name is embedded in this kingdom. Grand text describes the sacred kingdom's legendary origin. Yu cheerfully admits they have no intention of remembering. The group questions if Yu is also a hero. Yu denies it. Guild receptionist asks if the lead's listed job is housewife. The lead stares at the form, confused by the strange classification. Cat-eared receptionist suddenly interrupts, looking concerned. A hand presses a button on a strange device, revealing more page. The lead reads their skill sheet, shocked to see brute strength. Nearby adventurers react with loud disbelief to the announced skill. A small guild member comments on the lead's unassuming appearance. Others grab the lead, eager to test the claimed incredible power. Someone yells that the brute strength skill must be a lie. A skeptical character watches, doubting the lead's potential. Back at the desk, the receptionist asks about the guild master's skill. An explanation reveals the skill multiplies strength dozens of times. The lead and a skeptical adventurer discuss the unbelievable claim. A character proposes a test to prove the skill's authenticity. The group heads to the backyard for a practical demonstration. A mithril silver strength measuring device is brought out. The device is explained. It displays numerical values upon impact. Lead prepares to punch the device, comparing it to a game. A character smirks, daring the lead to try and break the machine. The lead smiles back, accepting the challenge with confidence. Others urge them to get serious and perform the test properly. The measuring device signals it is ready for the strength test. Lead punches, creating a blinding flash that shocks onlooker. The lead stands before the damaged device, a vow of courage behind them. Device's display shows an astonishingly high number, leaving everyone speechless. The power fully charges, ready to unleash everything. Lead's eyes narrow with fierce determination now. They rocket forward, breaking through with raw force. Onlookers scream, blown back by the shockwave. A massive explosion erupts, light consuming everything. Brute strength housewife is born. What just happened? Someone gets launched skyward by the sheer impact. The ground cracks, debris flying everywhere now. Lead blinks, innocently unaware of the destruction. The measuring device shatters completely from the force. A small creature clings to someone's face in shock. It broke. It was already just trash anyway. The display reads overkill. That's an understatement. Device vanished entirely. Unmeasurable power confirmed here. The cat-eared one checks if the lead's okay. Brute strength holders unconsciously protect themselves with magic. The lead stands tiny between two massive boot. Two muscular adventurers glare with serious expressions now. Someone's eye widens in absolute disbelief right now. The doubters bow deeply, apologizing for their skepticism. Comedy ensues. Someone's told to call her big sister. Calvin gets sent off to prove himself now. The registration stamp seals their official guild membership. Lead panics, money's tight after expensive lodging. Time to start cleaning as their first guild task. The guild members stare, utterly stunned by the impossible number. Elena immediately takes charge, outlining the first step, sorting. The lead looks overwhelmed, unsure where to even begin. They start separating necessary items from pure junk. A determined shout kicks off the massive cleaning effort. Rune explains the country's two types of waste disposal. A small adventurer finds a dagger amidst the combustible trash. Elena claims a personal item, defending it from being thrown. Non-combustibles are compressed for the state-run disposal site. A cat-eared member carefully cleans a dusty old lantern. The lead notes it's getting dark. They've only done this floor. Exhausted adventurers collapse dramatically on the now cleaner floor. Elena declares tomorrow's agenda. More trash and scrubbing. The lead sits alone at a desk, looking out the window. They ponder if staying at this guild is the right choice. The guild also has a kitchen, dorms, and showers to clean. Rune is clearly exhausted from the day's magical effort. The lead laments they have no money for proper supply. A scratching sound comes from the window. Someone's outside. The lead recognizes the person as Ketchi, shocked. Mysterious figure climbs up the wall toward the window. Rune's ears perk up, sensing the approaching visitor. The lead is suddenly startled, reacting to the intrusion. They realize the visitor has slipped inside the room. The lead exclaims in surprise at the unexpected guest. Lead suddenly remembers something crucial. They suggest asking Town Ketchi for cleaning help. The cat-eared one demands payment before working. Lead offers soft boiled boar meat stew. The cat-eared one's eyes sparkle with excitement. Lead suddenly stops, reconsidering the deal. They question where the boar meat will come from. Someone explains it's in the cooler from yesterday's hunt. The lead argues they should share for the me. Lead smiles. The plan is working perfectly. They tell everyone to cheer up, lunch is coming. The cat-eared one is shocked the lead cook. A job posting offers stew to helpful Ketchi. A cat watches from the rooftop above. Another cat calls out from the street below. More cats gather on the stairs summoned. One cat tells others to wait while more arrive. A cart loaded with sacks sits nearby. They discuss burning trash and hauling non-burnables away. A blonde character scrubs stubborn dirt with a brush. The character asks to join and hear the explanation. Two characters haul sacks toward the dangerous dump. Someone mentions transport fees, another refuses payment. Guards at the gate tell them to complain quickly. Silver coins drop into an outstretched hand. A guard demands more payment, counting coins dismissively, while another watches. The desperate customer protests, stammering about last month's agreed price. A cold-eyed woman announces price increases, telling them to leave immediately. Guards mock the hooded figure, telling them to return only when they can pay. An older man's weathered face appears, warning the young ones not to underestimate him. Someone unexpectedly spits loudly, shocking a nearby companion and a cat. A young traveler with heavy bags encounters a mysterious hooded elder on the street. The traveler nervously addresses the hooded figure as old woman. Hooded figure proposes merging their garbage with another group's disposal. A woman grins, slyly questioning whether they actually have the money for that. The hooded elder narrows their eyes, suspiciously sensing hidden motives at play. Two guards stand watch at a massive stone gate, spears in hand. The travelers approach the guarded entrance where a warning sign blocks their path. A guard explains there are specific requirements for those disposing garbage here. The guard condescendingly addresses the naive travelers, asking what they need. A weathered hand reaches out, offering to teach the polite young travelers something. The guard reveals the terrifying truth. A magical storm constantly swirls in the pit's depth. One wrong step means falling in and being decomposed alongside the indestructible waste. The guards boast they can approach the pit, but demand payment for their service. Young traveler calmly acknowledges their terms with a simple "got it." The traveler realizes the solution. If they can enter the pit from here, problem solved. Guards freeze their faces, draining of color at what they just heard. A guard nervously challenges them, telling them to prove it if they really can. A confident voice declares, then without hesitation. The tension peaks. The guards stare in stunned confusion, mouths agape at the bold response. Two guards look utterly shocked, their faces frozen in disbelief. A brilliant beam of light fires from the cannon, streaking across the sky. The lead is launched far away, realizing they overshot the target. A cheerful girl praises the senior, who remains silent and stoic. The lead announces the cannon is fully charged, ready for another shot. Lead charges forward with immense speed, yelling a battle cry. The lead screams for Silas to get out of the way immediately. Silas looks terrified, exclaiming how incredible the senior's power. Objects and debris fly chaotically through the air from the blast. The group exchanges tired but satisfied pleasantries after the intense effort. Lead cheerfully waves goodbye, telling everyone to head home now. Someone laughs, commenting on solving problems with pure brute strength. The lead politely insists it was nothing, downplaying their own action. A guard suddenly shouts, spotting the group and the hooded person. The guard recognizes the hooded person, exclaiming, Lady Grenna. An older woman with a pipe smiles, saying, Shez, finally been noticed. Silas asks if they know each other, confused by the recognition. The lead explains the woman is a former guild master and their mentor. Lead formally introduces themselves as a new adventurer named Yu. The older woman states her name is Grenna, confirming her identity. Grenna recalls her past as a reckless mage who traveled everywhere. Grenna mentions she's now just a retired old woman living quietly. Silas asks if they should just let the scheming guards go. Grenna's expression hardens, noting the guards are falling into a trap. Grenna ominously states there is a much better medicine for thick. The lead beams cats gathered. Kitchen's clean, time for lunch. Housewife's otherworld cooking title card. Boar meat, onions, seasoning. She slices the boar meat into pot-sized chunk, forking holes all over the meat for better absorption. 2 pots, different seasonings for humans and Ketchi. Dramatic reveal. The lead's secret weapon appears with a flourish. A mysterious brown bottle found near the entrance, dark liquid inside. They taste it, probably wine now transformed into vinegar somehow. She pours the wine vinegar generously into the human pot. Boar meats, like pork, stir-fry with onions for sweet savory magic. Her eyes sparkle with pure culinary passion. Pork bowl. Someone's stomach growls impatiently in the background. The lead's face drops. Devastating realization hits. No rice. A serene, smiling face appears. Someone's watching this unfold. The lead skips happily with a sack. The mysterious woman follow. She's ecstatic. Never expected to actually find rice here. Goddess descends. The woman offers rice from her own stash. The lead explains rice is commoner's staple. The woman looks guilty. Goddess claims she lives alone, just has extra to spare. Ketchi and crew fight desperately to taste the cooking first. A deal's struck. Cleaning champion gets to eat her food. The lead surprised. Such a simple trade seems almost too easy. An intense eye narrows. Something's being calculated behind that gaze. The woman walks off dismissively. Time for work, not nonsense. Lead starts cooking. Grains researching at the guild instead. The guild members sit together, tension lingering from earlier. Steam rises from a pot. Someone's cooking something delicious. The cat-eared one rallies Ketchi outside with cheerful gesture. Lead announces the final indoor cleaning stretch while cooking. A confident smile spreads across the lead's face. Someone declares a decision while the lead continues eating. The group cheers unanimously. The lead will handle all future meal. Lead worries about spending precious guild funds on food. Someone corrects them. This isn't about money at all. A voice reminds them, "You're a housewife too. Understand." The lead realizes homemade food carries its own irreplaceable value. Crowd erupts in cheers, celebrating the successful cleanup mission. Water and debris explode outward from the final disposal. The lead shouts in shock at the sudden chaotic burst. Someone grabs the lead, pulling them back from danger. The guild's cat emblem sign hangs proudly on the wall. Lead stares wide-eyed, processing what just happened. Outside the guild, everyone celebrates it's finally over. But a voice cuts through the celebration with a warning. The older man praises the lead for cleaning the impossible mead. A character grins, saying housework suits the lead perfectly. The man thanks everyone for their hard work today. Ketchi cats leave with boar stew as their reward. Someone ties up the last bag of sorted waste. Elena thanks the cat-eared member for staying to help. The lead's eyes widen at an unexpected revelation. Alina is told to head home early while the other locks up. The cat-eared character waves, cheerfully mentioning they live nearby. Lead blinks in confusion processing this information. The guild member reveals they own apartments behind the building. Lead realizes employee dorms exist in this world too. The cat-eared one mentions overtime isn't painful here. Night falls over the guild building under starlit ski. A quiet staircase leads up to the dormitory room. The empty hallway stretches toward the lead's assigned room. Lying in bed past 8, the lead has nothing left to do. Lying in bed, they realize no phones or novels exist here. Curiosity gets the better of them as they peek around the corner. They discover a reference room near the dormitory filled with resource. Shelves tower overhead packed with books and maps for adventure. As a newcomer, they decide learning the country's geography is essential. They settle at a desk with a lamp diving into the material. Multiple books spread before them as they read with growing interest. Standing up, they reach for more volumes from the shelf. A warning catches their eye. Something called natural black is strictly forbidden. 10 days have passed since the major cleanup effort. A man asks if they're handling trash duty again today. They pull a cart while the man comments on the disposal request. The guild counter accepts trash disposal from neighboring resident. Greta mentions the work pays surprisingly well at time. People sometimes offer bottles as payment during transport job. They contemplate their next task while gazing at the cobblestone. A familiar frustration surfaces. They sigh at the repetition. They wave cheerfully, announcing their arrival for trash collection. Someone pulls back a curtain to greet them. A striking woman with flowing hair welcomes you, her third visit this week. They survey the damage, shattered dishes, and planters scattered about. The woman assures them she's unharmed. Grenna's sources indicate Noelle's husband becomes violent when drinking. They recognize this pattern. Noelle is gentle normally, but this is abuse. Next, they ask about additional items to remove their thoughts, turning to the husband. The woman ponders thoughtfully, finger raised to her lip. Apricot syrup from last year gets offered generously. Someone waves goodbye, promising to stop by later. The night captain questions reports of a woman causing chow. Guards explain they cannot intervene beyond castle boundary. He suggests ignoring her since no real damage occurred. The guards hesitate, clearly uncomfortable with that idea. Captain demands to know what the actual problem. Both guards exchange nervous, sweaty glances at each other. They reveal shiz blocking garbage disposal, disrupting daily work. The captain strokes his chin, processing this unexpected information. He asks if she'll appear again today, gazing outside. One guard volunteers eagerly to handle the situation himself. The captain reminds them they cannot act outside castle ground. A voice claims they can capture her instantly on sight. The knight captain arrives on horseback, shocking the guard. Soldiers stare upward at something descending from above. Guards on the ground call out greetings wearily. The captain asks if the reported woman has arrived. Guards confirm she should be appearing any moment now. A hooded man's face twists in sudden alarm. The captain looks upward, sensing something above them. Someone's eye widens in complete bewilderment overhead. Spoons rain down from the sky mysteriously above them. The knight captain stands frozen, stunned by the bizarre shower. Lead gestures confidently explaining something to the gathered guards and knight. Carrying a heavy sack, the lead mentions someone who paid them while leaving the city. A blonde man introduces himself as Alexis Knight Commander, investigating trouble report. A woman nearby looks utterly confused, muttering, in bewilderment. The lead denies any memory of causing trouble, and the commander seems to agree. Guards exchange uneasy glances, clearly uncomfortable with this confrontation. A furious guard complains to the commander about interference with their work. The lead smirks knowingly, saying, "I see," with a sly, calculating expression. Lead explains how price gouging the adventurers constitutes abuse of power. A shadowed face watches silently, eyes gleaming with hidden intent. The guards break into terrified sweats, clearly shaken by something unseen. Knight Commander demands an explanation for what's happening here. A voice offers to explain, revealing a wooden cane planted firmly on ground. The commander's expression hardens, sensing something serious is unfolding. His eyes widen in shock. Exclamation marks burst across the panel dramatically. An elderly robed woman appears, identified as the infamous Witch of Scorching Heat. She presents testimony documents about recent garbage disposal schemes and incantation. The commander reviews payment records Grenna uncovered during her investigation. Guards stare at the figures in disbelief. Massive sums were being siphoned away. The commander closes his eyes, calmly stating he now understands the situation. He orders the guards to haul away the remaining garbage immediately. Someone whispers, asking who exactly this mysterious woman. Really, I. A warning cuts through. Careful around her, she's not someone to provoke lightly. The lead is revealed as a promising new adventurer the knights wanted to recruit. Walking together, they discuss apple syrup that would taste amazing mixed with alcohol. The lead laughs dismissively, waving off someone's concern. A young man senses something wrong in the distance. Someone falls from above as people shout directions below. The falling figure heads straight toward Noel's location. Someone spots the target and points urgently down the street. The young man screams Noel's name in panic. A drunk man grabs Shannon's hair menacingly with a bottle. Shannon lies on the ground, surrounded by shattered glass. Someone shouts for everyone to get back immediately. The lead rushes over, asking if she is all right. A woman watches the chaos unfold with cold determination. Blood trickles from behind someone's ear. A nasty wound. Wide eyes stare in shock at the violent scene. The drunk man slurs angrily at the intruders in his home. He screams that this is his house, his territory. Someone tells you to handle the bleeding while they deal with him. A terrified girl pleads with the man to calm down. The abuser shouts, "Shut up," refusing to listen to anyone. Narration reveals this man dared raise hands against his own family. A cat warns you that serious force could cause fatal injury. You mutters, "Hell, try holding back," though uncertain about it. The furious man demands to know who the hell they are. He rages about owning this place with his own money. Someone declares his punishment is sealed after hitting wife and daughter. Yu snaps back. "Don't mess with me, you little punk." Yu leaps down from above, charging straight at the drunk abuser. A devastating swing connects as Yu snarls, "Don't mess with me." The lead's eyes burn cold, calling him a domestic violence scumbag. Yu's fist slams into the man with bone-crushing force. The drunk's eyes go wide, shock and pain registering instantly. Abuser goes flying backward, completely overpowered by Yu's strength. He crashes hard onto the floor, groaning in agony. Noelle screams in horror, rushing toward her fallen husband. The cat receives orders, splash water to wake the drunk up. A massive wave of water crashes down onto the man. The soaked abuser sputters consciousness, slowly returning through the haze. Now awake, he clutches his chest, screaming about the pain. Yu stares down at him, the cat watching silently nearby. Shannon tends to Noelle, who's crying and trembling on the ground. The lead crosses her arms, demanding answers about what happened. Yu mutters that worrying about Noelle's feelings right now is pointless. Heavy armored boots approach, the sound of soldiers arriving nearby. A commanding voice shouts for everyone to freeze in place. Royal knights burst in swords drawn, announcing their authority loudly. The knights surround Yu and the cat from all directions. A woman begins speaking, her voice trembling with something unspoken. A knight's blade gleams, drawn and ready for confrontation. Yu raises a hand, calmly asking if they're here to arrest him. The lead glares intensely, hands raised, but clearly not surrendering. Knights brace behind shields as tension crackles through the room. The drunk husband screams insults, refusing to back down. Grenna's intervention brings knight healers to treat everyone's wound. An armored knight approaches the house to investigate further. The knight questions the husband, asking what he remembers. Husband sweats nervously, stammering vague excuses about last night. The knight's thoughts reveal obvious lies. The husband's story doesn't add up. Husband panics, desperately claiming he knows absolutely nothing. The knight describes the scene, scattered belongings, and injured family member. Wife suggests he should promise never to drink again. The cat notes he showed zero concern for his injured family. Close-up of the husband's face, desperately trying to hide the truth. The wife begins speaking, her voice trembling with suppressed emotion. A hand grips fabric tightly, knuckles white with tension. Someone whispers they warned him countless times, but he never listened. Shannon stands firm, declaring her father is definitely acting wrong. The mother and another woman react with shock to the confrontation. Shannon urgently tells her mother they cannot stay here anymore. Shannon and the lead prepare to leave, the husband watching behind. The husband's face contorts in desperation, calling Shannon's name loudly. Shannon turns to the knights, asking them to arrest her father. The husband realizes the stakes. If this continues, his wife die. He lunges forward, desperately overturning a chair in his rush. The husband charges wildly towards someone across the room. His face shows sudden shock. Something unexpected stops him cold. He grabs someone's collar violently, desperation written across his face. Yu's intense glare promises more pain if the man tries anything again. The husband stares back, utterly terrified and speechless. Guards arrive outside the house, drawn by the commotion. Shannon and her mother look on, shocked and relieved. The mother thanks Yu, her voice filled with emotion. Yu and the cat watch as the family begins to process the event. The lead suggests the mother and daughter pack their thing. Mother looks confused, asking if they should really leave. The broken window and shattered glass make the danger clear. Cat points out staying here is risky with the husband still around. The mother worries about the cost of staying elsewhere. Lead smiles, hinting at a possible solution. The cat suggests the guild's temporary dormitory. Inside, the mother sweeps up the broken glass. The cat explains the dorm is for adventurers only. Mother argues the beds are empty, so why not use them? The cat concedes the point with a shrug. Shannon suddenly shouts, She declares her dream to become an adventurer herself. Her mother is stunned, exclaiming she's only 14. Shannon explains she wants to earn money to set her mother free. The lead grins, saying they're always short-handed. She offers to recommend Shannon as an adventurer apprentice. The lead asks Shannon directly, "So what do you say?" Outside, the husband's eyes narrow with renewed drunken fury. Close-up reveals patches on someone's jacket, details of their gear. More patches visible, suggesting a well-traveled adventurer's attire. Fabric texture shown the character's clothing, well-worn from journey. A group stands before a door. Someone announces they're running away from home. A character's sharp eyes appear, demanding an explanation first. The face continues, insisting they speak before anything else happen. Two companions look utterly confused, a question mark floating above. A command is given. Runes stand by for full washing procedure. The black cat responds obediently. "Yes, ma'am," eyes gleaming. Someone protests loudly, claiming Tode's mess isn't even that bad. A hand gestures decisively. Time to clean with powerful force. Someone's face gets grabbed, protesting weekly weight. The cat leaps into action water, splashing everywhere. Two characters smile knowingly, completely understanding the situation. A massive washing blast erupts, cleaning magic activated. Two onlookers watch in awe, mouths hanging open in surprise. A character calmly explains that kind of thing is perfectly fine. Someone asks hesitantly if they can work despite having no experience. Two young women beam with excitement, eager to start their journey. A formal greeting echoes. "Please take care of you." Shannon is introduced as the new apprentice adventurer joining the guild. Chibi versions walk together. The new and apprentice combo begins their task. The tiny adventurers charge forward, ready for hunting and monster subjugation. Others joke that these two are immune to opposite gender charm. Grenna returns to the guild as an official advisor alongside Shannon's registration. A new mission scroll arrives, causing quite a stir. Noelle juggles plates, now a busy guild multitasker. The guild hall shines thanks to her diligent cleaning. A cheerful senior greets the new cat-eared recruit. They sort out confusing formalities and preferred name. A moment of hard-earned peace settles over everyone. Noelle and Shannon officially move into the guild dorm. A character reflects, realizing it's been a month already. Someone grins, clearly excited about a new development. Shannon boldly announces Shez taking on her first quest. The senior members react with utter shocked disbelief. Their jaws drop at her sudden ambitious declaration. Panic erupts as someone yells about the sudden plan. The group gathers, discussing the unexpected turn of events. Shannon explains her dream of a proper, stable home. A senior suggests they need to strengthen their force. One member doubts Shannon's actual combat experience. A knowing smile hints at hidden formidable skill. Someone asks to see a peculiar item bought yesterday. Heavy footsteps approach, signaling someone's arrival. A hand grips a new, intricately designed weapon. The onlookers stare, completely stunned by the reveal. Character strikes a dynamic pose with the weapon. A skeptical voice questions if she can actually use it. She recalls past experience, confidently mentioning Shez's hammered nail. Yu casually asks about armor, checking their preparedness level. Shannon reveals chainmail sewn beneath her clothes for protection. Yu pauses, humming thoughtfully about the situation. Still pondering, arms crossed, weighing the options carefully, Eleonora asks about Tode's quest assignments at the guild. The board lists tasks: shopping, cleaning, goblin, and wolf hunt. Yu notes wolves are multiplying, underground mana mysteriously rising. Shannon confirms she can handle the simpler town request. Yu offers to accompany her given the heavy workload today. They plan the route, east quests first, then south. A blonde adventurer named Silas suddenly appears nearby. Another companion named Dale steps forward to join them. Someone asks Yu directly if they're ready to head out. A companion volunteers to tag along and handle Yu's task. Yu looks confused. What's this guardian assignment about? The cat explains rookies need guidance, it's their first hunt. A map reveals the tiny kingdom with capital and 4 village. Monster subjugation requests typically come from these rural settlements. The capital has walls, but villages outside remain vulnerable. Shannon wonders aloud if villagers could handle monsters themselves. The cat notes regular folks struggle against trained creature. Yu states bluntly, ordinary people simply can't manage here. Shannon drops a bombshell. All local monsters use magic. Yu's eyes widen, caught completely off guard by Thay. Yu checks a bestiary. Goblins and wolves shouldn't cast spell. A sharp-eyed adventurer spots movement, shouting, "Found them, goblin!" Something crashes through the dense forest undergrowth nearby. Multiple goblins emerge, snarling with razor-sharp teeth bared. A fighter sweats, nervously realizing these aren't ordinary goblin. The adventurers charge forward, ready to engage the creature. A determined fighter's eyes narrow with battle foku. Calvin Guildmaster unleashes ice magic as a magic swordsman. Swirling ice magic erupts from his blade with tremendous force. Sharp ice shards rain down toward the goblin horde. Goblins scatter as the freezing barrage tears through them. Cyrus, a greatsword wielder, leaps into the fray. His speed defies his massive weapon, cutting through enemies effortlessly. Goblins scream as Cyrus' blade carves through their rank. A devastating impact crater marks where his sword struck. Debris and dust explode outward from the powerful blow. Del enters combat wielding both fire and water magic. Hez, the guild's only specialist handling combustible disposal task. A female observer gasps, realizing goblins are using magic too. She counts 4 goblins, but something feels wrong. Her eyes widen in alarm. Where's the 5th goblin? The ground cracks open as something bursts from below. Someone screams, "You, get down," in desperate warning. A massive goblin erupts, roaring with terrifying fury. A character dives downward, striking with explosive force. The impact creates a devastating shockwave across the battlefield. A white cat stretches playfully, its tail topped with a tiny feline companion. A serious-faced character gazes upward, expression tense with concern. Another character sweats nervously, eyes wide with growing worry. Someone screams in absolute shock, mouth agape with disbelief. A cheerful adventurer swings a massive warhammer overhead casually. The group arrives at a quiet rural settlement called South Village. Del's companions marvel at the peaceful countryside, calling it lovely. A headscarf-wearing woman pauses mid-laundry, noticing the approaching group. The woman beams warmly, asking what happened to the battered adventurer. Villagers rush over someone crying, "Mom," as recognition dawn. Townspeople crowd around, teasing about wolf reports and possible girlfriend. Del looks uncomfortable, muttering about having a rural home here. Curious children stare up, one innocently asking woman. Villagers gasp collectively. Del brought home a girlfriend. 2 companions react with stunned disbelief at the misunderstanding. The crowd swarms Del, gossiping wildly about the romantic rumor. Squeezed tight, Yu protests weakly that this is all wrong. Del thinks today should be quiet, then senses trouble brewing. Someone requests wolf hunt verification. 17 tails need confirming. The cat realizes the village chief might actually be Dell's father. Yu introduces themselves, explaining Dell and Cyrus helped them greatly. The chief reacts with shock. Girlfriend? He denies it loudly. Yu urgently asks the guildmaster about local monster threat. Yu presses further, visibly concerned about dangerous creatures nearby. The guildmaster turns ready to answer the pressing question. Yu questions the goblin's magic use, confused. Yu presses the point. These creatures shouldn't cast spell. Someone suggests they might be Arc or Demon Goblin. The bestiary confirms Darkskin's Six Toes magic ability. A character decides to appraise the creatures directly. The group gathers, wondering what species they've encountered. Yu's expression shifts. Something doesn't add up. The appraisal reveals Krite goblins, an endemic species. These monsters show special potential compared to others. The guildmaster smirks, sensing higher commission fees ahead. Yu and a companion apologize awkwardly. The guildmaster accepts, mentioning a return to old standard. Yu stares blankly as a bird passes overhead. The bird lands on Yu's head. Unexpectedly, Yu realizes current fees were actually reduced price. The guildmaster gets shaken down for answer. A chibi version of the guild master panic. The group arrives back home together. Everyone collapses at the table, drained. Someone asks Yu about the first subjugation. The cat-eared character is puzzled by everything. Yu requests a monster appraiser from the branch. The cat-eared character gasps at new species mention. Cat explains its endemic higher-tier species here. The cat recalls guild rules revised years ago. New subjugation rules unify payments by monster type and count. Local goblins and wolves were underpriced after recognition. The cat-eared one suspects these are higher-tier species. Eleonora gets shushed before revealing too much information. They need an official appraiser from headquarters to reassess. A strange creature's form is examined closely. The team mobilizes, ready to haul their finding. Something massive gets dragged across the ground heavily. A giant rock-like creature crashes down, shocking everyone. The companions marvel at the compression bag's incredible capacity. Magical bag holds 10 times its apparent volume. Forgotten adventurer supplies were buried under garbage mountain. The team works hard, cleaning recovered materials together. Processing wolf remains leaves her bloodied and exhausted. Guild members never question monster classifications from veteran. A cheerful cat announces the drying process is starting. Wolf materials are scraps now, but might improve. Processing tools hang ready along the workshop wall. A hand gently strokes the freshly cleaned fur. Someone realizes this fur could fetch incredible price. A suspicious question about selling wolf pelts emerge. The guildmaster suggests buying until formal appraisal arrives. Someone nervously asks to delay the sale briefly. A confused question mark appears over someone's face. The guildmaster grins, eyeing the profit difference hungrily. Someone whispers a name softly, trailing off. A wind chime tinkles gently overhead. A dark-haired figure gazes downward. A shopkeeper warmly welcomes arriving customer. Yu explains the guildmaster's referral. The shop interior displays various goods. Carmen invites the visitor to sit down. Goggles catch the light nearby. Carmen introduces herself as the shop owner. Yu clarifies their name isn't Maria. Carmen requests casual address without formality. She asks what items they seek today. Yu reacts with confusion to something. 16 wolf pelts are available here. Yu expresses disbelief at the quantity. Carmen appears quite pleased with herself. She laughs about the wolves' impressive size. The pelts could fetch several silver coin. Something soft and fluffy appears suddenly. Carmen's eyes light up with excitement. She marvels at the incredible fur texture. Yu questions who Carmen actually eyes. Carmen apologizes while stroking the pelt. A commotion erupts outside the shop. Carmen looks embarrassed, admitting she got carried away. Examining the fur, someone asks what creature it came from. The short-haired character protests. This can't possibly be wolf fur. Sitting together, they explain it's called wolf in this country. Eyes widen, could this actually be an entirely new species? The serious character admits it's not confirmed yet, but maybe. Inspecting the material closely, the quality after washing is remarkable. Frustration builds, wanting to buy but having no funds available. A sudden spark of realization crosses those intense eyes, desperately shouting at Yu, begging to borrow one sample pelt. The request leaves one character breathless on the couch. A cheerful voice announces their return to the guild hall. Shannon arrives home to everyone eating with cats wandering around. Chibi characters dream about becoming as cool as you someday. Cats lounge at the counter as someone suddenly remembers something. News breaks. The hero and Saintess will be publicly revealed soon. Two characters react with shock, now of all time. The cats note it's already been over a month since summoning. Preparing ceremonial outfits for the reveal will take considerable time. A stunned expression. Something isn't adding up here. Someone sprints screaming about Maria's deal happening in 3 days. The runner shouts back, "Today's the day, leaving the rest to you." Behind heavy bars, a shadowy figure waits in confinement. A character grips their weapon, grinning with dangerous intent. Lightning fast movement. Something explosive is happening in that moment. A woman in a hat cheers triumphantly. "I got it!" Carmen bursts in, startling everyone on the ground. The cat-eared one questions who authorized that merchant name. Someone urgently calls for Carmine to come over now. Carmine excitedly asks you about those pelts they still have. The calculation reveals 20 gold per pelt. 340 total. Group debates whether it's 17 or 20 coins each. Everyone erupts in celebration, jumping with pure excitement. Coins cascade down as someone gasps in complete disbelief. The guild master and speaker each claim their 80 coin share. Someone argues they hunted and processed them, so payments deserved. Remaining coins fund guild facilities and the new member Getsu Fund. Someone studies a document, shocked by the fur's high value. Carmen explains this phantom beast fur is worth far more than regular wolf pelt. Carmen winks, offering fair wholesale prices and inviting you back anytime. You smiles, knowingly sensing the perfect moment has arrived. The group celebrates wildly, planning an epic party tonight. Someone cheers about being closer to owning their own home. 5 days later, the town decorates for the hero parade. 2 characters stare out the window at the massive crowd. One character admits they don't really want to watch. A cat-eared one explains heroes are essential for cultural development. Someone raves about heroes Saburo's irrigation work back home. An elder insists heroes are named Tsutomu and shares his pick. 2 argue about heroes. One praises architecture, the other recalls collapsing building. A title card reveals this country always has a hero. The city thrives all development depending on summoned hero. Crowds buzz with excitement about what the new hero bring. The scene continues with the next story beat. Scene continues with the next story beat. Someone rushes forward with urgent, determined footstep. A girl announces the main procession is arriving soon. Everyone scrambles, earlier than expected, no time to waste. Chibi companions drag each other, shouting for everyone to hurry. Friends at the window call out, "Come see this now." A character sprints, desperately screaming with raw frustration. Knights march as crowds cheer for the hero and saint. Heavy castle gates creak open with thunderous sound effect. Excited faces press against the window. Look at that spectacle. A shocking realization hits. Their pelts are on those mantle. Disbelief erupts. Seriously? Even the cat is stunned. Royal connections explain the rush processing and premium pricing. Confusion sets in. What does this grand parade actually mean? A close-up reveals something subtle has changed in those eyes. Tradition demands this ceremony before knights patrol the village. Peaceful streets and rooftop cats contrast the earlier chow. A character relaxes with a drink. No duties today. Someone scolds the laziness, slacking since morning really. The group gathers for drinks, joking about knights handling everything. Monsters want appear near the sacred spirit horses apparently. Shocked reactions ripple through. Wait, what did they just learn? Someone asks about the knight captain's massive white horse. The dark-haired character questions why monsters avoid these horse. A realization dawns. Something troubling clicks into place. The blonde character reveals shocking truth. 0 monster combat experience. 2 characters react with disbelief at the knight's ignorance. At dinner, someone asks if they really didn't know. The dark-haired one explains patrols just push monsters back temporarily. A character panics, realizing tomorrow they're completely unprepared. The cat-eared one notes knights only report everything's peaceful. Chibi knights ride happily oblivious to real dangers nearby. The scene shifts. Morning arrives at the guild hall. A cat-eared clerk hands over Today's assignment request. 3 adventurers laugh loudly at the incoming workload. Someone remarks how quickly all requests were completed today. The cat-eared one reflects on understanding the situation now. Dark-haired character notes all the familiar faces gathered. 2 characters excitedly agree, pointing at each other enthusiastically. Flashback reveals the Golem Slayer and former guild leader's reputation. A large paw steps forward. Someone offers to help. Cats gather at the doorway, ready to assist with material. The group divides forces. Wolves to the south, others north. Cat-eared one warns everyone to stay careful out there. Adventurers prepare to depart, tension hanging in the air. The team heads out with weapons drawn, determination burning. A massive creature crashes through the wall. Ambush begin. The subjugation rush continued for several grueling days. They finally reached a quiet, desolate marshland. Exhausted, one companion collapses while another jokes about survival. A stern man calls their overkill tactics mercil. A retired mage unleashes a devastating scorched earth spell. Two characters banter about the Night Corps being a nuisance. A smiling man assigns a brutal punishment run. The team struggles through the ordeal, one already collapsed. A character angrily questions a strange, unfamiliar landscape. They discover a massive rocky creature, Karka. For a moment, they debate how to even begin disassembling it. A sudden, violent explosion rocks the area. The aftermath reveals a scarred landscape and a looming spire. Deciding they have enough proof, the team heads home. A character muses that the countryside hasn't changed. A stylish, bespectacled man adjusts his glasses, observing. A black cat watches silently from a high window. The cat's ears perk up, noticing something below. Dirty team returns, greeted by the cat Rune. Someone orders a wash for the natural high-haired one. A cheerful character announces a finished task needing a cat. They discuss dinner plans, settling on chicken ham. A character notices someone rare waiting outside the gate. The cat explains it left due to an uncomfortable guest. Confused, the group goes to see who the guest eyed. An official demands a guide to monster territory, citing a personnel shortage. The group stares shocked as someone asks, "You came?" Cat-eared clerk complains the guild master is unprepared for emergency. A hand dismisses using surplus staff, calling the idea foolish. Charlie, a monster appraiser, arrives, greeted with surprise. The guildmaster scowls, annoyed. Charlie arrived without any notice. Charlie holds up a letter proving the arrival date was sent. Charlie sputters, saying the advance notice was useless if undelivered. Someone sharply tells him not to dodge the real issue. Charlie proudly presents his adventurer party, including a famed former leader. Enoch questions the party. 2D rank rookies and a newcomer. Edgar insists the guildmaster must join if Hez so worried. Duke smirks, calling the guildmaster far too unreliable. The guildmaster glares, telling them to stop meddling. Group shifts to the main topic. All races using magic. They list local monsters, wolves, goblins, and golems. Nothing else. Charlie notes his data is a decade old, asking if things changed. The guildmaster claims the country hasn't changed much since then. Charlie adjusts his glasses, doubting golems could ever use magic. The guildmaster asks for a non-magical way to make rock spear. Duke smirks, accusing someone of blaming magic for their own failure. Edgar leans in, asking if the whole thing was self-staged. A chibi character shouts "huh" in utter disbelief. The chibi scene devolves into a chaotic, comedic argument. Someone turns to the guildmaster, ready to address him directly. The glasses guy insists tonight's just a tour. Real investigation starts tomorrow. Dark-haired one trudges back, cat watching from above lazily. He collapses against the door, utterly drained from the day. Tomorrow's gonna be hell again, he groans, sliding down, defeated. Next morning, the group observes wolves scattered across the open field. Glasses guy commands no head attacks. Teeth identification is still unclear. He wants wolf magic, observed closely 2 to 3 shots each. "You're ruining the investigation with that sloppy approach," he screams. 4 adventurers snap back simultaneously, "Shut up already." Dark-haired one argues their takedown method lacks elegance and beauty. Glasses guy calmly reminds them this is literally their assigned request. The blonde smirks. Handling this is exactly what they're paid for. A massive hammer swings down with devastating, earth-shaking force. "Deal." That's the last one. "Finish it." Glasses guy shout. Blades strike true as the wolf howls in its final moment. Glasses guy adjusts his frame smugly. Time for inspection now. A hand reaches forward, offering something to someone nearby. Dark-haired one whispers something secretive to his companion's ear. "Is that really okay?" "Can't be helped, I guess." Someone warns the naive one will end up like poor Minchi. The hammer-wielding girl stares wide-eyed, processing something shocking. Her face lights up, teary-eyed laughter, bursting with pure joy. Dark-haired one grins, suggesting they play hard with these wolves. He tells them to vent their stress while he watches timing. "Deal." Silas, someone calls out urgently across the field. 2 adventurers approach, mentioning northern golem duties ahead. Rustling grass, someone whispers to follow without getting caught. A bearded man in a hat watches with quiet interest. A small figure trudges through fields carrying a pitchfork. The hat-wearing man peeks over a wall, confused. A close-up eye reveals 157 demons rampage through the northern village. Chaos erupts everywhere. The scene continues with the next story beat. Dark clouds gather ominously above a lonely rooftop. Inside a pantry, containers and jars sit quietly on shelf. A character stares wide-eyed, whispering, "What is thigh?" Charlie dissects wolves while others snack on stolen ham. Someone apologizes to Rune, mentioning Charlie's guild connection. Rune the cat agrees to help with the subjugation effort. Two characters exchange resigned looks, both saying "Us 2, emergency girls meeting." Reinforcing kitchen doors with magic. Someone sweeps fur from Charlie's messy wolf dissection. 6 pelts recovered, but the profit disappoints everyone. A blonde adventurer brags about screaming near a golem. They spot a golem ahead. It's casting magic. The massive golem begins moving toward them menacingly. A dark-haired fighter notes the mage's power seems low. Someone questions whether that person can even call themselves a mage. A character pulls rope, questioning their ridiculous standard. 2 adventurers look baffled. What standards are they talking about? The debate heats up over mage versus magic swordsman qualification. Elite monsters, goblin wolf golem, populate this dangerous region. Dark-haired one argues their strength rivals advanced adventurer. Group debates testing themselves against wolves tomorrow morning. 2 discuss potentially skinning monster hides for profit. Dark-haired character smirks, sensing a perfect opportunity. Someone celebrates having a justifiable reason to proceed. A question hangs, who's assigning wolf subjugation to them? Glass's character narrows his eyes, asking why exactly. He explains there his guards wonders where 100 men went. She requests veteran verification against wolves and high-tier monster. Glass's man grins, enthusiastically calling it a brilliant idea. He eagerly wants to witness their true combat ability. 3 companions stand silently unimpressed by his excitement. One smirks, confidently accepting the challenge readily. Boots hit the ground. Team moves out with purpose. Wolves spotted drinking peacefully at the watering hole. Dark-haired one whispers, urging everyone to maintain distance. 2 warriors charge recklessly, one boasting about one-shotting them. Battle cries echo across the field as they attack. Observers react with shock. Why shout at that distance? Dark-haired character watches nervously as mage prepares spell. Mage launches fireball dramatically toward the unsuspecting wolf. Fireballs sail harmlessly overhead. Wolves stare up confused. Dark-haired one's jaw drops. Those fireballs were ping-pong-sized. Mage screams at teammates to properly contain the wall. A wolf snarls, fiercely reacting to the chow. The dark-haired fighter shouts, trying to keep wolves at bay. Glasses wearing character worries, unsure how to proceed. Someone steps closer, realizing they need to close the distance. An observer notes it's worst if the wolves come out now. The mage chants, focusing her magic intently. Group calls for the guild master, seeking direction. The dark-haired one grins, ready to take action. Mage advances staff held firmly. Her expression hardens with determination. A wolf lunges, jaws wide open. A character stares in shock at the attack. A weapon swings through the air with speed. The hammer wielder strikes a wolf directly. Mage looks on, surprised by the turn of event. A fighter tightens their headband, focusing. Boots shift stance, preparing for movement. The dark-haired character lands a heavy blow on a wolf. Wolf's bones crack under the impact. 2 characters fall back, avoiding the guild master's area. The mage hurriedly agrees to instruction. She runs off, being called slow by a teammate. Another wolf leaps into the fray. The mage gasps, realizing a new threat. Dark-haired one yells, warning against counterattack. Iceland's magic erupts from a caster's intense, focused eye. The strike lands perfectly. Someone cheers the guild master's precision. A fighter shouts orders, demanding backup while handling remaining wolf. The blonde warrior grins, fiercely gripping his sword with excitement. Dark-haired one acknowledges the command with sharp determination. Blonde fighter's eyes light up with pure battle hunger. 2 companions sweat nervously, sensing danger closing in fast. Warriors face off against wolves in the open field. The pack snarls, viciously, teeth bared and ready to strike. One fighter's confidence crumbles as wolves surround him completely. Something dark and fast slashes through the pouring rain. A scream tears through chaos as someone takes a brutal hit. A wolf lunges at a fallen warrior, claws extended. A foot pivots sharply, barely dodging the vicious attack. The blonde warrior's blade cleaves clean through a leaping wolf. Dark-haired fighter holds the line while his companions shout. Spinning with lethal grace, the blonde cuts down multiple wolves. 2 fighters stand frozen, processing the brutal aftermath in silence. Quiet settles over the tree line as battle dust finally clear. Blood drips from a wounded hand. Victory came at a cost. A healer tends wounds, complaining about using precious healing magic. Team argues fiercely. The wolf moved far too quickly for them. Group discusses how Charlie surprisingly wielded healing magic effectively. Tension crackles between fighters as they process what just happened. Dark-haired one questions exactly how strong these wolves truly are. Edgar smirks, teasing that the previous opponent was actually stronger. Someone shushes Silas loudly, warning him not to jinx them. The group argues about fighting individually versus coordinating as a pack. Glasses guy suddenly realizes the wolves hunt in coordinated group. A figure hides behind a tree, admitting packs are tough. The hidden observer stays silent, watching the group from shadow. Back at guild, someone reports their goblin and golem encounter. 4 adventurers slump dejectedly. The results were scattered and disappointing. Flashback. During the first golem fight, I-beams blasted them, another adventurer nearly impaled by the golem's rock spear. Silas charges forward, screaming as he swings at the golem. His blade strikes uselessly. The weapon can't cut through stone. The team helps finish off the first golem together. Glasses guy whines that smashed golems can't be properly inspected. Someone sarcastically thanks him for those incredibly helpful words. The goblin fight turned out even worse than the golem. A feral goblin swings its club. These creatures excel at magic. Fireballs, water spheres, wind blades. Goblins showcase elemental magic perfectly. A goblin surprise attack triggers instinctive follow mode in the fighter. Someone roars angrily. The goblins stole their prey right nearby. Only Enoch's expression shifts slightly amid the chow. From distance, Enoch watches his own magic get swallowed by Goblin's spell. A goblin's rain spell drenches everyone. Now they're huddled, freezing by fire. 2 figures stand in the field, surveying the aftermath quietly. The group mutters about demons interfering, bad luck they really don't need. Hammer wielder sits confused, question marks floating overhead. Blonde companion warns that the golems still live. Dark-haired girl mutters about wanting to observe its eye. Glasses guy arrives cheerfully, greeting everyone with false warmth. He questions why she's sitting before superiors. Manners matter. She coldly replies she doesn't care about standing. Glasses guy blinks, confused by her blunt dismissal. Comedic chaos erupts as everyone reacts to the tension. Glasses guy nervously announces hell stand up then. Someone panics, shouting for him to wait immediately. Glasses guy facepalms in silent, exhausted frustration. Dark-haired one mutters he should just stay seated. Someone demands to know what Enoch just said. A character insists they weren't interfering at all. Blonde one admits they'd both be dead without help. 2 companions stare in absolute horrified shock. Someone explains golems took 0 damage from their attack. Blonde character threatens to silence the complainer violently. Another argues wolves barely slowed them down either. Dark-haired one snaps, their magic was simply too weak. A fist clenches, ready to strike someone down. Mage criticizes their speed power and judgment severely. Someone admits the monster's strength defies all belief. Dark-haired one tilts her head, puzzled by something. Someone asks if they've ever seen higher-tier creatures before. The blonde mage admits they've never fought higher-tier creature. She looks down, confirming their inexperience with a somber expression. The entire group reacts with stunned disbelief at her answer. Glasses-wearing character processes this, looking deeply concerned. A massive golem's eye suddenly activates, staring directly at them. The dark-haired fighter and hammer wielder scramble back in panic. A brilliant beam of energy fires from the golem's core. The dark-haired one screams as the attack barrels toward them. A colossal explosion erupts, shaking the entire field.